My name is Ellen Ganley. I'm the Director of Development for Worcester Community Action Council and also have the privilege of serving as the chair of the Thomas Green Committee. This is my second year doing so. So thank you all so much for being here. We'd like to start by thanking our host, Assumption College. Unfortunately, Dr. Cesareo is out of town and is unable to join us, but we thank him and his staff for their hospitality, and he extends congratulations to all of our winners. The Thomas Green Public Service Award that the Research Bureau awards annually is done so to recognize outstanding municipal employees. It's appropriately named in honor of Thomas S. Green, who personified integrity, exceptional leadership, and a remarkable commitment to voluntary public service on behalf of the City of Worcester. This year, the Research Bureau honors 4 employees who have made outstanding contributions to public service. The awards are made publicly to recognize their efforts, exhibiting following characteristics: exceptional competence, efficient handling of all assigned responsibilities, a willingness to perform tasks above and beyond the call of duty, their friendly, helpful, cooperative attitude towards the public and fellow employees, distinguishing him or herself from other employees. As we introduce this evening's winners, there are clear similarities and traits they share. They're great team players. They have an incredible work ethic. They're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done. They have an incredible passion and commitment to their job. They also share incredible humility, and pretty much to a person, they would prefer to be seated anywhere else other than the front row in front of you all. Together, Tom, Nicole, Mike, and Adam represent more than a century of dedication to their respective departments. That is simply remarkable, as are they. Before we get to the honorees, we'd like to kick the evening off with brief remarks from a few folks who know a little something about municipal service. First, please welcome to the podium City Mayor Joseph Petty.
Thank you, Ellen, and glad to be here. And President Cesareo, tell him thank you for offering Assumption College for this event. I'm glad to have it back here at this room. It was very nice. And Senator Chan was also with us from the government. And I don't see any other elected officials. John Monfredo is also with us from the school committee. I just want to thank you for having me here today. I want to thank the Worcester Research Bureau for putting on this event and recognize the works of public servants in Worcester and nearby communities. And this is a real honor. Since 1987, this event has recognized over 100 municipal employees who work every day and whose work may go largely unrecognized. The honorees recognized today are the same as every other in the last 30 years, nominated by their peers, not for just their professional competency and excellence, but for their service to the wider community. In reading the biography of the honorees today, you can tell how varied the day-to-day is for each of these 4 people. Adam Furno is the foreman of the Highway Department, and for the town of Douglas. Adam, congratulations. And also in his spare time, as a hobby, he's a firefighter, and the captain for the EMT. So congratulations to you. And for the City of Worcester employees, we have Nicole Cooney, who's in the Finance Department, DPW. Nicole, congratulations. And I know we've been sending a lot of money your way for parks and improvements, so I think you're doing a great job in implementing that. And I see the crew in the back with Phil Gurran and Matt Lepovitis and the Commissioner, all doing a wonderful job for the City of Worcester. So keep it up. Appreciate it. And also Tom Barrett. And Tom, right there, Tom. And I know we have 2 new high schools coming your way and doing a great job. And hopefully, Mr. Manager can close your ears here and block your ears. Bronco High, hopefully in the future sometime also. And Mike Dignault in the Water Department, and wonderful job. We've come a long way. See Phil Gurran, who's known statewide for his work when it comes to water in the city, in the state of Massachusetts, and doing a great job in Worcester, and up at 2 a.m. in your bio reads 2 a.m. in the morning, doing those breaks that we sometimes have often, sometimes don't, but it's cold in the winter. And I know each of you makes our city better every day that you come to work. The general public will never understand the complexities and necessity of your work and how indispensable each of you is to the overall functioning of our city. For all the employees here today, your work may be different, but you each go out about with the same dedication, care, and sense of selflessness. Each of these award-winning volunteers their own time to improve themselves and improve their performance. These are the kind of people that every community needs, people that know how to turn strangers into neighbors. This honor is well-earned and deserved. Today, we are recognizing just 4 of the thousands of employees, but in recognizing each of you, we're recognizing the men and women that you work beside every day. Recognize that there is work of thousands doing incredibly different jobs towards the common goal of a better city or town that we are recognizing here today itself. We are right to hold them up as role models for other public servants, but for the public itself. Our city is moving forward, not just because of the work that city employees are doing, but because of their neighbors, business owners, churches, nonprofit groups, and our colleges. It takes of all of us working together, going above and beyond what is expected to make our city truly thrive. It's only right and fitting that we recognize you here today, and I'm honored to be here, and thank you personally for all the hard work you have done for many years in the service to the city of Worcester and to the town of Douglas. Congratulations, and thank you.
Next, I'd like to ask City Manager Ed Augustus to come up. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. And I first want to thank the Research Bureau for hosting this wonderful event each year and recognizing such deserving public servants. It really is important that we kind of highlight some of the folks who work often not as well known or as visible to the general public, but who provide such essential services, such quality services, and spend virtually a lifetime serving the people of their community. And I want to congratulate Tom Barrett from the Worcester Public Schools, Adam Furno from the Douglas Highway Department, and I'm especially proud of Nicole Cooney and Mike Degnault from Worcester's DPW Parks. There are a lot of things that aren't great about being city manager, but the one thing that is great about being city manager is to work with wonderful people like those being recognized today. Nicole, as the mayor said, in the last 5 or 6 years, we spent about $60 million upgrading our 61 parks. And all of those contracts and all of those finances flow through Nicole's hands. And she does an amazing job of keeping things moving and keeping us out of trouble as things keep moving in the Parks Department. And we appreciate that. And Mike Degnault, I promise not to say, but I guess I'll break my promise. He started work in the water department the year I graduated from high school. So that's a long time that he's been working on behalf of Worcester. And Worcester Water Department has come an awful long way in the time that Mike Degnault's been on the job. A period of time when Worcester was known for poor water quality, for shrimp in our water. It was a point of embarrassment, and now it's a huge point of pride. We were out at the water filtration plant yesterday, and the quality of the water, the quality of the infrastructure, the services delivered to the citizens and visitors of Worcester is first class. And it's because of Mike Degnault, his professionalism. And people like him who are out at 3 o'clock in the morning when a water main breaks in a snowstorm, or sitting across the table from a family trying to figure out how to do the water hookup. You need lots of different kinds of skills to do those jobs, and we're fortunate that we have these kind of dedicated public servants. So on behalf of all your colleagues in city government, and really on behalf of all the people of Worcester, thank you for jobs well done. We're really proud of you. Congratulations.
If we could ask Deputy School Superintendent Susan O'Neill to come up for a few remarks.
Good afternoon. On behalf of Superintendent Beninda, our sincere gratitude and appreciation for your outstanding service to our community. Your hard work and professionalism sets an example and an expectation in our community. Thank you for your dedicated service, for your genuine care and respect for our community and citizens. And Tom Barrett, we are very proud to have you representing the Worcester Public Schools today. You are a steady force who we rely on to ensure our schools are ready to welcome and serve the needs of students, staff, and families. Thank you for your leadership. Congratulations to each of the Thomas S. Green Public Service Award recipients.
Although this evening's honorees are largely Worcester-based, it is a regional award, and therefore we're thrilled to have Adam from Douglas and would like to welcome his town administrator, Matt Wojcik, up to the stage. Thank you.
Good evening. If I appear a little bit uncomfortable, it's my mom was born and raised in, and my cousin was the mayor of the city of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and you people make me nervous. It is a pleasure to be here to talk about Adam, and if you don't mind me picking fun at you guys a little bit, there was one thing that Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle all had in common. Does anybody know what that is? Anybody want to take a guess? I'm using the Socratic method, isn't that clever? Anybody? Well, they were all city slickers. And having all those people around and splitting up all the work allows people to specialize, and specialization is a wonderful thing. It's allowed many of us to achieve what we've achieved in life, to be that person who's really great at one thing. But out in the boondocks, in places like Douglas, population 8,700, it's not that far from here. You're not lost, we'll help you. Just don't speed, because Bren will get you. We have the privilege of working with people who wear many hats. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, it's an incredible amount of passion to be a public servant whose job never leaves them. And for many of our firefighters and our EMTs, when they respond to a home, they not only know who lives there, they may have gone to school with that person. They may have kids on a ball club with those people's kids. And so when tragedies happen, it strikes near to the heart, and they can never escape their job. And no matter where Adam goes in town, I'm sure he's heard it. The lights were on at the municipal center. There's a leak at the park. What are you guys doing? And every time Adam looks in the mirror, he's having a staff meeting, because he's the working foreman at the highway department. He's also a captain in our call department within the fire department. He's our OSHA coordinator. He's one of the few people in town who's certified to work on our water pipes. And I'll tell you one thing, when it's negative 20 outside, and the water's coming out of a water main break, and you're down in the hole, and the water's freezing on contact with everything around you, you know what you don't need? A philosopher. You know, hand me a wrench, the proper response isn't Hakuna Matata. We can count on Adam to respond to just about everything. And what that kind of public service means is, you know, you're not going to be perfect at everything. You can't be. So you need to work with other people. You need to have the right attitude. And so in making this nomination this year, we wanted to send a message to all of our wonderful employees in Douglas, and we have a great team, that we celebrate Adam's leadership and his ability to have a smile on his face and to come to work every day with 100% commitment to the town that he loves, where he has grown up and lives now and has raised his family. So it's a real privilege to have nominated Adam and see him recognized by people who don't know him. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Matt. We'd also like to thank and acknowledge our elected officials who were able to join us. Senator Harriet Chandler, School Committee Member John Alfredo, and any others. If I'm missing anyone, please raise your hand. And I would also, are there any past Thomas Green recipients with us this evening? Please stand and be recognized. Congratulations and thanks for coming back. It's a truly remarkable legacy that the four of you this evening are joining. This is the 31st class. It's some really impressive folks that you're joining. I'd also like to acknowledge my colleagues on this year's awards committee: Joyce Augustus from the YWCA of Central Mass, Dan DiTullo here at Assumption College, Kathleen Gagney from Mechanics Hall, Heather Gould with BSC Group, Alex, I'm going to screw up his last name, Guardiola from the Worcester Chamber, Karen Luddington from Children's Fund, Paul Provost from the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, Todd Rodman from Cedar and Chandler, and everybody's favorite voice, Hank Stoltz. So thank you to the fellow committee members. It was a pleasure to work with all of them. This year's nominations were, as usual, truly impressive. The process was highly competitive and representative of the remarkable work being done each and every day by committed and dedicated employees throughout the region. This evening, we honor the best of the best. Our first honoree has oversight to some 63 buildings throughout the city. All of them state-of-the-art, gleaming, modern structures. Right, Tom? Please welcome Kathy Gagney to introduce our first honoree, Tom Barrett.
Thank you, Ellen. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. It's been a great pleasure for me to participate in the Thomas S. Green Public Service Awards process. I would like to thank the Research Bureau for acknowledging with this award the outstanding work of so many public servants over the years. I thank Eric Neeland in particular for offering such a refined approach to a complex process. Over the course of the last few months, the committee has been allowed to take a close look at the powerful results of selfless contributions made every day and most often behind the scenes by individuals employed by our region's municipalities. The work accomplished by the 2019 award winners makes life better for each and every one of us every day. Thank you all for your dedication to our communities. I'm honored tonight to introduce Thomas Barrett, Coordinator of Buildings and Grounds for the Worcester Public Schools. Tom has been employed by the WPS for 21 years, beginning his career there as an electrician. Today, he is responsible for the care and operations of 63 buildings, totaling 3.6 million square feet of school structures that serve 26,000 students. The oldest building, Grafton Street School, is 135 years old, and the youngest building is 2-year-old Nelson Place School. The largest building is Worcester Tech, 410,000 square feet. To get the work done, Tom is responsible for 22 tradesmen and 160 custodians. He's responsible for a fleet of vehicles for transportation and snow removal, in addition to the equipment needed by his tradesmen and custodians to accomplish their work. I'm emphasizing these aspects because it is a daunting task to be literate in the needs of historic properties and the high technology considerations of 21st century properties. It takes a good nature and keen judgment to lead a team of 182 skilled individuals. It takes a well-rounded knowledge base and sound judgment to track, schedule, and deploy people and equipment. In getting to know more about Tom, I came to admire his ability to manage people, places, and things with calm, kindness, and foresight. As the steward of an iconic 162-year historic property, I can appreciate the complex systems involved and the dynamics of making the right decisions that will serve both a building's users and the building itself. But Tom Barrett's ability to multiply those variables in the care of 63 buildings is remarkable when you consider his responsibility is actually to protect our precious children and their teachers and administrators. It is inspiring and praiseworthy. Tom and his dedicated staff focus on the highest level of care for our school facilities. The maintenance and custodial teams clean, repair, and otherwise maintain the WPS buildings. Tom also works directly with various other city agencies, including fire, police, code, Board of Health, Public Works, and Parks. One supporter declared that every year Tom is asked to do more with the same or less, and he manages to stay within budget with respect and a smile. Support for Tom's nomination came from throughout the school department. We heard from a school committee member, from the deputy superintendent, from the chief financial and operations officer, the budget director, the director of facilities, director of transportation, the director of child nutrition programs, from the IT officer, and the school's safety director, and 7 others. This wide range of support speaks to Tom's ability to work well with others, and of the number of departments and thousands of people his work affects. Let me share with you some of the compliments from his supervisors and colleagues that arrived with Tom's nomination. Nearly everyone commented on the fact that Tom's job is a 24-hour-a-day dedication. Tom goes above and beyond in all areas of his job. He is on call 7 days a week. He responds to all calls no matter what time of day or night. As an electrician, a working foreman, a maintenance supervisor, and now the coordinator of buildings and grounds, Tom has prioritized teamwork and building rapport with all that he comes in contact. You can clearly see very quickly how much he enjoys his work. In some of the most difficult of situations, Tom can be found with a welcoming and professional smile. He truly cares for the students and staff of the WPS. Tom has an outstanding work ethic, leads by example, has a positive motivating effect on others. He's caring, respectful, a good listener, and he's not afraid to make tough decisions. Tom juggles complicated and competing concerns calmly, professionally, and cheerfully. He is efficient and effective and leads by example. Tom Barrett told me that he loves what he does, that every day is an adventure, and he does not see his work as a job, but as a calling. He believes that public service is a reward. He also made a point of telling me how grateful he is for his clerical team, for Alex and Sabrina, whose late nights often rival his own, and for Michelle, another dedicated team player. I asked him about the favorite aspect of his job. He told me he feels a deep satisfaction when on a cold and bitter winter's night, as he pulls up to an emergency situation, pulling up beside him are CFO Brian Allen and Jim Bedard, Director of Environmental Compliance and Capital Projects. He's proud to be part of that team, who, with Superintendent Benenda, make hard decisions about school closures because of snow or plumbing or HVAC emergencies, and they do it together regardless of the hour. He told me he's energized when someone calls about a leaky pipe, heating issues, falling ceilings, or cranky sprinklers. His pleasure is in getting the job done. I asked him what advice he would offer to municipal employees wanting to achieve success. He answered, work hard, listen, pay attention to your staff, and always value others' opinions. To my mind, Tom Barrett is an example of high-level leadership, and I'm honored to introduce him to you as a Thomas S. Green Public Service Award winner.
Good evening. Thank you, Kathleen. That was heart-touching speech. I'd like to take a brief moment to acknowledge those that supported my nomination for this award. A sincere thanks to you, Worcester Research Bureau, for the efforts put forth into this most prestigious award ceremony. Also, many thanks to Mayor Petty and City Manager Augustus for your dedication and all that you do for the City of Worcester and Worcester Public Schools. Congratulations to the other 3 Thomas Green recipients. It's truly an honor to be nominated for this award. A special thanks to Mr. Allen and Mr. Bedard and all of your kind words of support in your nomination letters. Words can't describe how blessed I am to be a part of the Worcester Public Schools and the City of Worcester team. When I was called down to Mr. Allen's office, I was informed in front of my colleagues that nominated me, I was a recipient of the prestigious Thomas S. Green Award. I was truly speechless. It took a few days for it to really sink in. I also want to thank Superintendent Maureen Benenda, Dr. Susan O'Neill, and all the principals throughout the district. I am amazed at what you do on a daily basis. I truly enjoy working with all of you. Thank you to Mr. John Monfredo in the school committee. Mr. Monfredo is also a Thomas S. Green Award recipient. I wouldn't be successful in my role without my team. I want to give a special shout out to the 160 custodians and 22 tradesmen that clean and maintain over 60 buildings, 3.6 million square feet of real estate daily. They just do an amazing job day in and day out. Thank you to my family, friends, and teammates for coming out to this wonderful ceremony tonight. Thank you all. I will always remember this night.
Congratulations, Tom. Well deserved. I can't even keep my two-bedroom home clean. Our second honoree, and the only female winner this year, last year it was nearly all female, so there's a good balance, but has held nearly every job there is to have within the city's Parks Department. In fact, Matt Lebervites and Rob Antonelli might want to watch their back because it's pretty much the only thing she hasn't done yet there. Please welcome Heather Gould to introduce our award winner, Nicole Cooney.
First off, I'd like to say congratulations to the Thomas S. Green Award winners. I am honored to be here in your company. This evening, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing Nicole Cooney. I have to admit, I stumbled a bit in preparing this intro because there is so much I want to say about Nicole. So I'm going to try to keep this short. Nicole is awesome. I am a fan. The end. Just kidding. Nicole Cooney has been a City of Worcester employee for over 25 years. Nicole started at the bottom of the totem pole when she began working as a clerk typist for the city in 1993 in the Parks Department. As a result of her positive attitude, eagerness, and hard work, she earned a few promotions over the years. And by few, I mean many. Senior clerk, principal bookkeeper, senior accountant, chief accountant, principal staff assistant, and her most recent appointment, finance manager in 2017. In her current role, she oversees the payroll, accounts payable, and accounting functions for the Department of Public Works and Parks Administration Division, a behind-the-scenes role that impacts hundreds of employees. I had the chance to catch up with Nicole over coffee. Well, coffee for me, tea for her. And that's where she told me she was blessed with the gift of gab. While that certainly may be the case, I think the better description is silent leader. I say this because she leads by example. She's humble, she listens and keeps calm, and she follows through on her commitments. Nicole is the direct supervisor for 10 lucky folks. Lucky because she has the best attitude. You see, she believes in making personal connections with her coworkers. She likes to get to know everyone she works with and considers them a family. One of Nicole's nominators mentioned that it is not unusual to see a line, yes, literally a line, queued up by Nicole's desk during the day with people seeking her knowledge and her assistance. I somewhat incredulously asked Nicole if this was really true. She said yes, it does happen, but she doesn't mind. It's just a part of her job. And while it tends to delay the work she needs to get done for the day, she oftentimes stays late to finish her work because in that 1 hour between 5 and 6, she finds that she is most productive. No interruptions, just time and space to do what she needs to do. And she doesn't mind it at all. For her, it really is just a part of her job. Nicole takes pride in her work and pride in her department. She can't imagine working anywhere else. A lifelong resident of Millbrae, she also gives back to her community. A former Parks Commission member in Millbrae, she now serves on the town's finance committee, further showcasing her commitment to sound public financial management. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention she is also a family woman, a mother who sometimes finds it hard to juggle the work-life balance, especially with the son in sports. Isn't that the truth? Respected for her wealth of knowledge, her eagerness to take on any challenge, her willingness to lend a hand no matter how small or large the task at hand, and perhaps most importantly, to listen and be there for her coworkers, Nicole Cooney is a true professional. A utility player who goes above and beyond, she is truly the kind of player everyone hopes to have on their team. Nicole, congratulations on an award you are so deserving of.
This is such an amazing opportunity, and I'm honored to be selected. I would first like to congratulate the other recipients, and I would also like to thank Paul Musi, Rob Antonelli, and Jarrett Connor for all of your support. During my career, I've been very fortunate to work with and for some of the very best. I was young when I started, and I had a lot to learn, but I had terrific people to learn from. I remember how proud I was to accept the job with the City of Worcester. I'm still that proud today to be part of what I call my city family. I couldn't wait to start, and from that day forward, I took every opportunity to learn, and I tried to do my best. When I was hired, I was a junior clerk typist. I did that job with pride. It involved working closely with the public, scheduling, preparing, and maintaining all the permits for the parks. But the year I started, the city purchased and implemented a new computerized permitting system to replace the paper and pencil ledgers. Well, this created a significant void in my day, as it was much more efficient than the paper and pencil ledgers. I found myself asking if I could help with anything else, and soon after, I mastered payroll, and I again wanted to learn more. I was then trained and helped with processing payments. As I learned new tasks and I got more involved with the different aspects of the inner workings, I had more of an appreciation for what goes into each task and what is involved. One of the main things I learned through my career is that we truly are all equal, and each one of us have a very important part. We truly need to work as a team, and each employee has a significant part in each process, because without all of our efforts combined, we would not run. With each promotion I received, I understood more of why some things were done, but I never lost sight of what was involved in the steps and the importance of each step in the process along the way. So as I stand here today and I look back on my path, I want to thank everyone for trusting in me to do my best. I would not be here today if it weren't for so many of my coworkers along the way. Mike O'Brien and Dory Vecchio saw something in me that I never even saw in myself. They encouraged me and they supported me until I went back to school. They gave me the confidence that I needed, and I learned as much as I could. Rob Antonelli, wow, what can I even say about Rob? Rob has been my biggest supporter at work for over 2 decades. His positive attitude and his encouragement has gotten me through some really tough situations, but I can always count on Rob for an answer or advice on handling any situation that has been thrown at us. I would also like to thank my coworkers that have also had a part in my accomplishments today. Without my teammates, today would not be possible. In closing, I also would like to acknowledge my most loved and dedicated supporters. They've always been there for me. My mom, my 2 wonderful sons, Mike and Ben, my husband, who's also my best friend. They have been understanding when I put in a little extra time or I need to talk about my perfect and sometimes my not so perfect days. So thank you to them as well.
unlike Nicole, our third honoree has held numerous posts within the City of Worcester's Department of Public Works. And as the city manager alluded to earlier, imagine the changes he has seen, having served more than 35 years in that department. Please welcome Joyce Augustus to introduce Mike Daigneault.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to be here, and first, I'd like to congratulate all the award recipients on their hard work and their services in the community. I have the great pleasure right now to introduce Mr. Michael Daigneault. He is the Assistant Director of Water Operations for the Worcester DPW and Parks. Michael is also known by his colleagues as Mike D. or Daigneault. I had the pleasure of having conversation with Mike, which I'll call Michael, and it was quite interesting. Mike started 36 years ago working at DPW. Actually, it was his first job right out of college. Michael went to school to study agriculture, and he ended up in the water department. But on the serious side, he went to Amherst University. He did study agriculture, and after several semesters, he realized that it wasn't really for him. So he went to his next best and more passionate topic of engineering. And so he became an engineer and graduated from Amherst with a bachelor's degree. When he was offered the job at the Worcester DPW, he realized that he could make a difference there, but it was not easy. When he started there, he had a lot of problems with the older men in the departments, the ones that served in World War II, in the Korean War. They were the experienced workers, and they thought that these young college, in quote, punks, who were still wet behind the ears, were coming to take their jobs. So they weren't really welcoming at all. So in order for him to succeed in the department, he quickly learned the tricks of the trade. And there were 3 lessons that he holds dearly that got him to where he is currently. One is to keep your mouth shut, your eyes open, and your ears open. That's the first lesson. The second one is getting your hands dirty, so to speak, getting involved and learning to respect knowledge. Although these men treated him horribly, he learned to respect the knowledge that they were able to bring to the table. So that was another way for him to learn. And also learn by watching and by being willing to help all the time. So these strategies he has learned throughout the process of being where he was in the department, and it also helped him to grow as well, to create great work ethics and to mold him into the person that he currently is today. Because of this, he was able to build a great relationship with his former boss, Dino Eliade, which is his mentor, has become his mentor over the years. And Mike really had to work hard to move up the ladder. From the day one, he was part of the process in helping the Worcester Water Department and to clear up the water to where it is currently. He told about being there and seeing the old pipes, the old corroded pipes that were there, metal pipes, and there were actually wooden pipes as well that was dated back to the 1800s, like 1868, that were found, I believe, in Cherry Valley. So that was part of the process of learning and growing and figuring out the best way to get the Worcester water up to speed, because Worcester water was considered one of the worst waters in the region, I believe. And so he's proud to be part of that process. And now we're looking, jumping forward to today. He still can't believe that he has spent 36 years in that department. He is so thoroughly in love with his job. He loves what he does, and that's what makes him get up every day to go to work. Based on information that was provided, he is one of the hardest worker in his department. It says here, there's no one working at the Worcester DPW with more knowledge of the water distribution system than Mike Daniel. Since he's been there, Mike has spent, with a lot of help, over $120 million to help upgrade this 150-year-old system. So that's where your taxpayers' money is going, to help to create better water. And so in all that, he was in the center of it all. He was the inspector, he was the designer, engineer, program planner, engineering supervisor, etc. And being a manager of this large department demanded adaptability. And he, based on his experience and what he's learned, he was able to adapt quickly to all the different changes and the different things that were coming at him. He weathered different storms, floods, failing infrastructure, and he was also able to deal with new materials and new methods of doing things. And one of the things about Michael is that he's a great learner. He's always looking for ways to improve the water, improve systems, processes, and one of the things, including technology, and then one of the things that he's done recently, he was able to implement changes to the water division specifications for water main material, including zinc coating that would help to minimize corrosion on the pipes. Michael leads by example and by being the hardest working person in the department. He's a team player, and he treats everyone with the same level of respect. And that's what's great about him, because everyone has a lot of wonderful things to say about Michael. He's very easygoing, laid back, smart, intelligent. May I continue? He loves the outdoors, but unfortunately his wife doesn't. So he spends a lot of time with the Boy Scouts. And that's why he disappears every Monday night for the last 20 years to be with the Boy Scouts, because he gets to camp and not have to worry about anything else. He also plays hockey at the Gentlemen's League in Auburn. And he's blessed with a wonderful family, his wife Jane, his son Joseph, and his daughter Amy. One small tidbit of information. In addition to loving his job, he told me that he loves the location of the Worcester Public Works Department. One of the pleasures of having the department behind the 111 Chop House, it's for its wonderful smells and delicious scents that permeates the department at lunchtime and at dinner time. So that's one of the perks that he gets for working at the water department. And in closing, I'll leave a statement from his boss, Philip Gurin, which is director of the water and sewer operation. He says, "Mike is our most valuable player and the soul of the Worcester DPW water division. Sometimes he comes off as know-it-all, because in actuality, he really does know it all when it comes to the water system. Mike is indispensable, and if he were to leave, the wheels would quickly fall off this water wagon, so to speak. So Michael, I am honored to have introduced you this evening. Congratulations on your award, and thank you for your service in the Worcester community.
Definitely outside my comfort zone up here. First of all, good evening. Thank you, Joyce. I'd like to congratulate my fellow award winners. I would also like to thank those people who nominated me and wrote letters of recommendation, recommended me. I was truly shocked when Phil made the announcement a month or so ago, gathered everyone together in the office and put me on the spot, so to speak, to let me know that I had won one of the recipients of the Thomas S. Green Award for this year. But there again, thank you. As Joyce stated, I did begin my career fresh out of college, graduate, kind of not knowing what I was getting into. And as she said, many of my coworkers were those veterans, those people, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. They had worked in the water department for many years, and here was this young guy coming in. And there again, I learned a lot of stuff in books, but it certainly wasn't what was happening out in the field. I quickly learned, as Joyce said, keep my eyes open, my mouth shut, my ears open. You listen and learn. Back then, those old timers, their experience and their knowledge was invaluable. There again, things were different then. There was no technology. There were no cell phones, no computers, no iPads. We recorded everything in books by hand. Kind of what Nicole talked about. Everything was pencil and paper. All correspondences were written down longhand, transcribed, and they were typed out on a regular old typewriter with carbon paper. I guess I'm dating myself a little bit, but well, a copying machine, when I first got there, we didn't have a copying machine. Copying machine was a luxury that we didn't have. We finally did get one over the years, but after 36 years in the department, I'm now the old timer. I'm one of those people, I guess, that I look back on and they had all the experience. I guess I'm that guy that has a lot of the experience now, and people come to me for answers, and hopefully I give them the right answers. We do have the latest technology now. We have GPS and GIS, and we have apps, and we have iPads and cell phones, and it's all great stuff. But one thing hasn't changed is my dedication to the citizens of Worcester and the surrounding towns. There's towns of Auburn and Paxton and Holden. They all get Worcester water too. I'm committed to supplying those residents with clean, fresh drinking water, and I'm committed to the drinking water profession in general. I try to treat everyone, coworkers, customers, contractors, those citizens who walk in the office, those come in with a problem or a question, all hours of the day, the same way I would want to be treated, with courtesy, kindness, empathy, respect. We try to do our best for our customers. We don't always give them the answers they want to hear, but you try to make them feel okay about it. Besides my job, as Joyce indicated, I am involved in Boy Scouts, and I'd like to recognize and thank all the members of Boy Scout Troop 121 from Auburn who are here. It's great. Thank you very much for showing up. But I mean, in Scouts, we emphasize the Scout spirit, doing a good turn daily, being prepared, following the Scout oath and law, and I'm not going to repeat the Scout law. There's 12 points in the Scout law, but I know I won't be able to repeat them today. But some of the points of the Scout law: being kind, being courteous, being helpful, being friendly. I try to set that example for my coworkers as well as my fellow Scouts. And at this time, I'd like to
thank the people who helped me along the way, from those old veterans, particularly two people that stand out in my mind as they are no longer with us. They passed on, as Arthur Lasapio and Tony Bernardi. And as Joyce said, they took that young college punk, and those are their words, not mine, and they taught me how things worked in the water department, and they broke me in the right way. My former bosses, Andy Murch and Dino Eliade, my current coworkers, and also there are, by my count, 5 water department employees who have earned the Thomas Green Award, and I've had the pleasure and the honor to work with them all. And they are Paul Mahoney, Kevin Daly, Phil Guerin, who is here with us tonight, Bruce Blanchard, and Mike Ferguson. They've been great to work with and great mentors over the years, great people to call my friends and my coworkers. But my biggest thanks goes out to my family, especially my mother's here today, my sister and brother-in-law, but a big thank you to my wife Jane, my son Joe, and my daughter Amy. They put up with a lot of late-night phone calls. I leave at odd hours to go to a water main break or to help out. But also my constant reminders of how good tap water really is. Don't drink that bottled water, and especially Worcester tap water. You always have Worcester water. But I truly am honored to receive this award tonight. It is, as I said, I'm still shocked that I've earned this. But I will try to continue to uphold the spirit of the Thomas Green Award through my work in the years to come. And I'd like to say thank you very much. And hopefully, as I've got my Bruins tie on, go Bruins. And thank you very much.
Congratulations, Mike. So I understand that mutual aid was called into the town of Douglas this evening in order for our final honoree to be with us. He literally wears so many hats, they don't often let him leave town, but we're fortunate that they let him come tonight. Please welcome Todd Rodman to introduce Adam Furno.
Thanks, Ellen. You know, as impressive a group as all of the nominees are here tonight, it's certainly really, really impressive. I knew that I wanted to introduce Adam. When I read the recommendations, and I was trying to keep track of everything that he does in the town of Douglas. As you heard from Mr. Wojcik, the town administrator, I had the pleasure of visiting Adam in person while he was work at the highway maintenance garage, and I was even more impressed in person, having taken the trip down there. As you can read in today's program, and you've heard from others, Adam's primary job is with the highway department, where he operates heavy equipment, does road repairs, and anything else road and street related that needs to be done. He's risen to the role of foreman over the past 12 years. He's also a captain in the fire department, where he's worked for the past 20 years. He's been an EMT for the last 18 years. He's been responsible for the maintenance of the town of Douglas's buildings for the past 5 years. He's a licensed water systems operator who backs up the staff at the water and sewer department when needed for the past 12 years. He's the town's OSHA safety compliance officer. And finally, he also handles the town's stormwater compliance program. After reading this list, I couldn't get this image of Adam driving a snowplow to a fire so the fire department could get there, getting out, fighting the fire, and then administering aid as an EMT. I don't know if that actually has happened. It's actually happened. Okay. If I lived in Douglas, I'd be worried any time Adam left and took a vacation, which I'm guessing is not too often. I feel safer just being in the same room with him here tonight. Adam's commitment to the town of Douglas is a family tradition. His father, mother, sister, aunt, and uncle also either currently work or have worked for the town. His great-grandfather came to Douglas in the 30s from Italy and bought the land that Adam, his parents, and many other family members live on to this day. In addition to his work responsibilities, Adam has a full and rewarding personal life. He's married, he's the father of 3 children, and of course he's a very involved father. As you'd expect from someone with such a strong commitment to his work, Adam was quick to share credit with everybody else he works with in the town and share success with his family. He said it all when he told me that, to me, this is a family award. On behalf of the Worcester Research Bureau, we're happy to present Adam with the Thomas Green Award. Congratulations.
Okay, as many of you know, this isn't me. This is not me. So, I'd like to thank you all for your kind words. Everyone in this room who knows me knows dressing up like this, standing up here talking like this about myself isn't me. So instead, I would like to thank all the people who made this possible. My wife, Crystal, and my 3 children, Emily, John, and Michael. Without your love, understanding, and patience all these years, I couldn't be the person I am today. You have always been supportive, even when I drag you to a fire call or to one of the town buildings for a maintenance issue during the evenings and leave you in the car. To my parents for always pushing me to do my best. You have taught me from a very young age to always be respectful and kind to everyone. You showed me that having a positive attitude towards any task or situation will always bring a positive outcome. To my sisters Jen, Liz, and my brother-in-law Mark, without all your help raising our children, I couldn't have dedicated all the many hours to the town of Douglas. My parents always told us it takes a family to raise a child, and that is such a true statement. To my Uncle John and Aunt Christine, for your guidance and generosity all these years. I have learned so much from being around you my entire life. You both have a large part to do with my success. To my entire family, thank you all, past and present, for the work ethic, dedication, and sense of responsibility you have instilled in me my entire life. There is no family that works harder and volunteers more. My whole life, I have been raised to always help family, neighbors, and the community when they are in need. To the Town of Douglas Selectmen, Town Administrator, Highway Department, Fire Chief and Fire Department, Police Chief, Police Department, Senior Center Director, and all Town Hall employees, thank you. I know all of you nominated me for this award, but without all of you willing to guide me in the right direction, this would not have been possible. Your positive attitude and patience as I learned and transitioned into each new role given to me is a direct result in my success. The Town of Douglas residents are very lucky to have each and every one of you. Lastly, I want to thank the Thomas S. Green Committee for choosing me as an award recipient this year. I am honored and humbled to be chosen. Thank you all.
You did it, Adam. Good job. As we wrap up, I'd like to thank the City of Worcester's government channel for taping this evening's ceremony. The event will be available for viewing on both the Research Bureau's website as well as the City of Worcester's website. We'd like to say special thanks to Penta Communications for managing the Bureau's website and making the online viewing possible. Special thanks to the Telegram and Gazette for the pretty incredible photos of our winners in the program this evening. An additional thanks to all of our sponsors, which are listed in your program. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, but we couldn't do this without them. Our honorees received a swag bag filled with lots of goodies from our sponsors. We thank them, along with citations from State Senators Harriet Chandler, Senator Mike Moore, and Representative John Mahoney. I'd like to thank you all for coming and celebrating these remarkable municipal employees. I invite you to join us for a reception just across the hall, hosted by our gracious host, Assumption College. We thank them so much. Tom, Nicole, Mike, and Adam, congratulations. They will be available for both photos and autographs across the hall, so thank you. Thank you for coming.